Picture this. Windows open, crisp air, the smell of chili coming in from the kitchen. Friends and family all seated together, dressed in red and white. The announcer shouts, "Pass to Rogers, intercepted by Frazier. 40 yards, 30 yards, 20, 10. Touchdown, Nebraska!" Smiles and cheers fill the room as we all celebrate another Husker victory. This is one of my most favorite memories from childhood, a memory and a tradition that is still carried out by the current generation of my family almost every football season weekend. Husker football is not the only Nebraska tradition that rings strong with my childhood. Many of my childhood summer memories include trips to Nebraska's parks and lakes. My family owned a small boat that we would take to Sherman Lake on Saturdays. We would kneeboard, ski, fish, swim, just spend the afternoon on the open water. From this experience and others like it, I grew a love for outdoor life. I learned what it meant to truly appreciate a warm summer day, a bright shining sun, or an afternoon spent with family. No matter which park we visited or which town we drove through, we were always greeted by fellow Nebraskans with a friendliness not found elsewhere. From the famous one-fingered farmer wave to a stranger helping to stop with a flat tire along the road. Growing up in Nebraska taught me the importance of kindness to strangers, manners, and always extending a helping hand to your neighbor. In the Nebraska schools that I attended, I was expected to practice these same values, and it was here that I met some of the greatest friends of my life. We were a big group of friends and never short on imagination. Many of my best friends lived in the same neighborhood that I did and had siblings the same age as my siblings. We would all work together and play together and hang out. As we got older, our activities changed, but not our togetherness. Where there was one of us, there were 4 or 5 or 10. Sure, we had our arguments, our disagreements, but we always forgave each other, always loved each other, and always supported each other. Growing up with these friends taught me the importance of working together, supporting each other, and respecting each other. And I learned how to make good relationships last. Many of these friends are still my best friends today, 20 years later. It was not always fun and games, though. Many of these friends and I worked side by side in our first summer job, detasseling corn. I will admit it's not the most favorite job I've ever had. But when I received and cashed that first paycheck, I knew that the hard work was worth it. This is a value and a lesson that I took on with me to many of the future jobs that I've held, and many of the challenges in my adult life that I've had. For example, growing a garden. Many Nebraskans grow gardens. My grandparents had a garden. My parents had a garden. Every spring, I would watch them hard at work until I was old enough to help out. We would kneel in the dirt, dig in the dirt, sweat in the sun, and there was always so much maintenance. Watering the plants, weeding the garden, checking the vegetables. Sometimes I wondered if it was even worth it, if the plants would even grow. But sure enough, year after year, they grew. Every time I took a bite of a freshly grown vegetable, I knew that the hard work was worth it. Helping my parents with their garden and learning the process of planting and maintaining a garden is a lesson I've taken with me into adulthood. It's a lesson I've been able to pass on to my own children, who help me every year in our own garden. They're learning the value of hard work and the value of patience. The first year that we planted carrots, I'll never forget, they asked every day if the carrots were ready yet. Are the carrots ready? Are the carrots ready? And I will never forget the look of pride on their faces when the carrots were finally ready and they were able to pull them up from the ground. Patience, hard work, manners, and the value of family are just a few lessons that I've learned growing up in Nebraska. I hope to pass these lessons on to my children, and my biggest hope is that they will pass them on to their children, and so on, because I truly believe that as far as hard work, friendliness, and college football go, there really is no place like Nebraska.